everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz, multi-platinum producers. Welcome to the music production and beat making live streams. We do these daily. We get on live. We make music live. And basically, we answer questions as it relates to the music business, and we show people how to do music production, making beats on the Akai MPC X SE. So for those who know me, you know what I'm saying, I'm Juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz, multi-platinum producers. We've produced for all the greats: Nas, Big Pun, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Killer Mike, Raekwon the Chef, The Game. You know it. If you've heard it, we've done it. Dum Dum, what up? Basically, we're going to get into this thing tonight. We're going to get into some beats tonight. We're going to make it do what it do. Up. Let's get this on the grid. Let's go. If it's your first time here, we do music production live. Let's lay that down. Let's go. Lay that open hat down. Let's go. Let's go. Hero, what up? And we're going to turn this into 8 bars. Shout out to everybody that's getting into the live. If it's your first time here, I'm Juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz. Multi-platinum producers, Big Pun Nas, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Raekwon the Chef, Jadakiss, The Game, Freddie Gibbs, Killer Mike, Waka Flocka. You name it, we've done it. Welcome to the lives. Every night we get together, we do the lives. We answer questions about the music business. And then we show people music production. Getting folks started in the game, you know what I mean? Let's go. Okay, hit that like button. Shout out Oddball, DJ Brewer. That's ill what I'm seeing happening here. No L's, what up? So listen, how we broke this beat down real quick. Let me break it down for y'all if it's your first time here. And this is what we do, man. We make the beats live, and then we basically deconstruct them live if you're watching. You know what I'm saying? Hero, what's up? Richard, what up? All right, so, and of course, we start with the sample. And he got a nice little bounce to it. And what we did, we pitched it up a little bit. All right, so we started with that. Then we added a hat to it. Hold on. Just regular hats. Didn't do anything too elaborate. Less is more sometimes, right? We go from there. We added in a snare here. And we try to pick a snare that's a little heavy, you know what I mean? Classic hip hop snare. Especially when we're doing boom bap, right? Kick. Alright. Something sounded off. Right there. We gotta fix that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go into that and we're gonna try to move that around. We're gonna just capture that note and we're gonna nudge it forward. There we go. And sometimes if your programming is off, you gotta catch it with your ear. And then we're gonna do the same thing here, and then we're gonna nudge it forward a little bit. There we go. Yes, no L's. I use 16 levels for the kick. And then also what we did too is we laid the kick down with two different time signatures, right? So for the main part, which would be the for the main part, which would be, we would lay that down first, right? And we would lay that down using the 1/16 time, right? And then when we come back to do then we do that at 132, and then we do that at a 16 level at a lower velocity, so make that giddy up to give us that feeling that you're hearing, right? You hear it go. And the reason how you're getting it like that is because one drum is on the 16, one drum is on the 32, and then the one drum is also 100% velocity. The other drum is lower velocity, maybe at 50%. Open hat on here. Shout out Mike Watts. Thank you for the gift. Make sure y'all liking the live and sharing the live. You know. If you got any music business related questions, you can drop them into the chat. But not only music business, you can also ask me about social media marketing. You could also ask me about e-commerce. You could also ask me about Facebook ads and a whole bunch of other things as it relates to this music business. I am a 20-year music veteran. Me and Mike D are former A&Rs of the infamous Loud Records of Mobb Deep and Wu-Tang Clan. If you know, you know. We currently are, like I said, multi-platinum producers. with a current distribution deal with the Sony Orchard, and we're always on here at 9 o'clock trying to do the lives, trying to show people what's going on, and trying to really help people get in this music game, you know what I mean? So I want to jump into another beat real quick. And that was fast. That took me about 15 minutes. You know what I mean? That didn't take me long to make that. And like some nice boom bap real quick. Richard, to answer your question about streaming, no. That seems a little slow to me tonight. See what we can do with this, right? Let's see what we can make this into, right? Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's sharing the live. Shout out to everybody that's liking the live. Let's go. Get the snare down. Let's go. Yo, while I got everybody in the live, man. One, I need a name for the beat. If it's your first time here, I let the chat name the beats. So I need a name for the beat. I need a name for the beat. First beat. That's the first thing I need a name for. I need a name for this beat. And then I need to tell everybody to tell me where they're from in the chat, man. Let's go. Yo, who's watching the Knicks games, man? Tell me what's the score? Damn, the Knicks is up by 30. Damn. Tell me it's the fourth quarter, though. They still got time. Indiana Nothing says, yo, the name of the beat is called Stick Up Kids. Jason says, The Reckoning. You must be from Brooklyn, naming it The Reckoning after that Smith & Wesson. Let's go. Hero, what up? What up, Jason? I see you. Ohio in the building. Cool J, I see you, man. Big L, I see you. Mike, I see you, man. Brooklyn, Cali, the building. Let's go. Yeah, so, this is remind me of, if y'all, because, we produce Big Pun Leatherface. So when I heard it, it gave me that feel like that. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So it kind of gives me that vibe. So when I heard it, I'm like, man, let me sample that real quick, or let me basically bring that in. So what I want to try with this is I want to see if we can stem separate it, because there are some elements in here that we might be able to bring out. Because I hear a piano in there, and we can separate the piano from the bass from the lead, then we might be able to go. Jason, I see what you're doing. Hey, listen, man, it's all about what you feel, going on with the beat. You know what I mean? So it's like, I do stuff with the temp. I do stuff with the velocity, because I kind of like to, I'm not a drummer, but I like to kind of see if I can get that feel. And then, of course, we have to play around with the time signatures to get us to do more things in the fills. You know what I mean? He said he's on that on the hat. Rob Mully, what up, man? He said the samples. Listen. That's what we call. I call that a air. thought I did it already, but let's try it again. Let's see where it went. I'm trying to separate the stems. I want to see if I can pull the piano away from the lead. New York City gritty. I'm gonna call it the Knicks win. If the Knicks win tonight. I haven't heard Lloyd Banks' new album yet, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't listen to it yet. You know, we had just did the joint on the Halloween Havoc 5. We did the record Taking Notes with Lloyd Banks. So, you know, I hadn't had a chance to listen to this new album yet. Because we just did the joint for him a few months back. I believe it. The Lloyd Banks album is tight. That's what's up. All right, we're gonna try to make that work. We just did a stem separation. It's not that clean. We're gonna try to see if we can clean it up a little bit, or make it louder rather. Let's normalize it. See if we can get it up a little bit. Pause. Add a little low pass filter to it. Let's see if we can get it to do a little bit more. Or maybe we add an EQ to it. We gotta see if we can get it to do what we want it to do. See if we can get it to sound the way we want it to sound. And there's definitely some artifacts on there. Anthony, what's up? Serato step separator. this is trash. You heard? Trash. Trash on that stem separation. Like that is the... Got a lot of artifacts. It's like I would have to sit here. Like I would have to sit here and really... Like it's good if I wanted to support what's already there to kind of bolster it, but it can't seem to run by itself. Calvin, what up? Or we can use the high pass filter and replay the bass line. Because it's not a complex bass line. We could do that. So first let's do an underlying piano on it, right? Let's do the piano first. We'll do a low octave piano, and then what we'll do behind that is we'll then copy those notes from the low octave piano into a bass line. And then what we'll do is we'll take the high pass filter of it, and then we'll use the high pass versus the other one. Okay, so now what I need to know is what is the key of my sample. And the key of my sample is A sharp minor, excuse me. Go back to my plugin, and then what I'm going to do is go into pad performance, and I'm going to set the scale an octave, and I'm going to make that as A sharp minor. A sharp, B flat, same difference. for right now, that's why I don't want it to come in too hard. Pause. So that's why I mess with the velocity so that it messes with the so it kind of messes with the attack a little bit. So now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get everything to the grid. I kind of like my stuff to line up. Especially when I'm doing my bass notes and stuff like that. I like that stuff to always be kind of on the grid. So now, if you notice, what we did now is so I'm going to take this filter out because I don't need it now. So now that I've got that going on, I don't need the filter in this anymore. Only thing I need now at this point is if I want to add a different bass line, or not a different bass line, but a different bass sound, I could. And then what I might want to do here is, because I've done the stem separation, right? And that was the filter that we don't need, because I'm going to turn this into a bass line. So check this out, right? So wrong one. What's going on with that? That's weird. Okay, I see what's going on. Tempo's off. So then when I bring in the other one, now we can do it like this. So now I'm gonna add a piano. I'm gonna add another we need to add a bass sound to this. So we need to replay a bass on this, and to get it where we need to be. If we do that, we should be good. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's following. Shout out to the new followers. Shout out to everybody that's liking the live. Shout out to everybody that's sharing the live. Not quite. Playing Call of Duty. the Max B first day. That might be it right there. Let's lay that down. What we naming this again? Marcus, what up? What we naming chat? What we naming the beat, man? Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's just coming into the live. We have been online now for 49 minutes on a Friday night. Knicks look like they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't believe it. As a native New Yorker, Harlem born, Bronx raised, it feels good, but I just can't watch the game. When I watch the game, it feels like I'm going to jinx it. But I'm going to watch the Eastern Conference Finals. I guess they needed Jason Tatum, man. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping that Jaylen Brown could step up and handle it, but man, don't even call no John Starks. Don't call none of them guys, man. Those guys gave me ulcers, man. Oh, Jaylen fouled out. He fouled out already? He's only in the third quarter. Did he say the third quarter? So that was beat number 2. I still need a name. Chat, give me a name. This is beat number 1. Watch says nothing sweet. All right, I'm gonna take that. Nothing sweet. No Diddy. Nah, Jason, nah, we're not going for that. We're not doing that. Somebody said to call the beat baby oil. We're not doing that either. I got one more sample in here. This sound like a prelude to one of them parties. Baby, I need you to go and get that oil right there. Listen, man, it's crazy. I'm gonna try it tonight. I think I want to do something different, so I'm gonna try it. I don't know how much time we got. We got a little bit of time. We're not doing 2 hours on a Friday night. Not on a Friday night. Not on a Friday night, man. Unless the chat gets lit, then all right, then I ain't got no choice, and I'll stay. If the chat gets crazy lit and the likes go crazy and the roses go crazy and the super chats go crazy, then I'll stay. Oh no. Strong said I'm unable to save 2 samples. Okay. It's doing something silly right now. What samples was those? He says, I think this group of individuals I can get lit. Let's go, man. Come on. try it. Try that. These are Audio-Technica headphones. Lee, when you say create different version with the same sample, it depends. I think it just depends. I could take the sample and we can try to manipulate it in terms of doing either filters, chops, speed it up, slow it down, halftime it, just so that we can kind of get an idea of what we want to I want to add a clap to this. gotta double check on the brand of Audio Technica. I forget the name, the exact model. Let's add that clapping real quick. I never used the SP1200, man. I had an 808 back in the day, but I never used the SP1200. So listen, that's beat number 3. I need a name for beat number 3. That Mother we sampling. Yo, Indian, we can't do that, man. You gotta listen. You gotta leave Cassie alone, man. You gotta leave Cassie alone, man. You gotta leave her alone. Vinci, what up? Born Ready said Pillow Talk. I like that. She said name it Pillow Talk. I like that. That's almost perfect. See, she was thinking about Cassie without saying anything derogatory. Man, it's gonna be a crazy trial. So for everybody that's coming into the live, this is beat number 3, right? Let's start with beat number 1, which we call Nothing Sweet. You ready? Let's go. Omar, thanks for joining. Thanks for being the first time in the live. What I recommend, he's asking what I recommend the MPC X. For those who've been here with me for the last 30 days, that's a resounding what? Yes, I would recommend it 10 times over. So that beat is named Nothing Sweet. The second beat, chat, I Still Need a Name. Life of Sin. Damn, that's diabolical. Calvin said the champion. I think I like that. He said Triumph. Remember, we already got Triumph, man. Abomatomically. You know you can't do that. And for those who missed this one, we did a bit to this one because we started with the sample, then we started to add pianos to it. You know what I'm saying? We added a bass line to it. That's a really low octave, so you know you got to have a certain type of speakers for that. Basically kick, snare, hi-hat, samples here. So yeah, it's doing something a little special. You know what I'm saying? And then the third beat that we got for tonight, shout out to Born Ready. She goes, his name is called Pillow Talk. Mother asked where the drums is from. I program the drums in real time. If you miss parts of the live, you can always rewatch them on YouTube. They'll be all there. And every night we get on at 9 o'clock, we programming and we do our music production, beat making. We walk you through the process on the MPC. And then we're also answering any questions as it relates to the music business. Yeah, it's in the bio. We are multi-platinum producers, Arkatech Beatz, Big Pun, Nas, Prodigy, Jadakiss, The Game, Killer Mike, Freddie Gibbs, Saha the Prince, Maya, Shorty Low, rest in peace. Yo, the Knicks up by 50. That's terrible. A few records for Nas. One in particular with the late prodigy of Mobb Deep called Self-Conscious, Prodigy and Nas. So, that's one of the claims to fame. And then, we have some other ones with him and Bravehearts. And then we have some other records that are out there in the stratosphere that were on other joints. But I'm gonna answer some questions, man. What's up with the chat? What's up with the questions as far as any music publishing, anything? He says the NBC 4000 and NBC Live 2. My partner has the Live 2. I don't have the Live 2, and I don't have a 4000. I have this one, and then I got a 2000 XL in the closet, and then I got an MPK 261 here. I got a Mini over there and a Car Fire over there, and I got a machine in the closet somewhere, but I don't use those anymore. Shout out to everybody who's been copying the books. If you have questions as it relates to the books, of course, if you're reading anything that you don't understand, listen, Havoc is one of the greats, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, the infamous Mobb Deep album will probably go down as probably one of the best hip-hop albums, that we've probably ever heard. These albums are timeless. And, shout out to Hav, man. Not for nothing. Havoc is responsible for getting us the initial recognition within that Loud office. And I don't want to tell my cousin's story too tough, but my cousin who's my production partner is he was an intern at Loud, and he had developed a relationship with Havoc when he was in the mailroom. And me and him used to make the beat tapes called Bash Music every week. And he had played those beats for Havoc, and with Havoc's cosign, that's what kind of got us to Pun. Yeah, Mobb Deep is one of my favorites, man. That's one of those albums that change your life. I didn't sleep on the 4000. It was just it was just more than I needed to spend at the time. When I had my MPC 2000 and 2000 XL, I already had an ASR 88. So for those who know what the ASR 8, it's an ASR 10, but it was with the keyboard, the 88 keyboard, the weighted keyboard, and I had already paid over $4,000 for that keyboard, so I wasn't gonna pay another $4,000 for a 4000. So that's why I bought the 2000 XL. Appreciate your mother. I say the same thing. I should have never sold my ASR. I should have never sold it. Someone is asking, No L's is asking me if I ever heard of a distributor called Hitmaker. No, I've never heard of it. Look, just do your research with these new companies. You got to do your research, because what's happening in some of these companies are doing this thing because you can kind of do like a label situation through like a parent situation. Like, say you could do a DistroKid, and then you can use these other distributors and be a boutique under a boutique. So you just want to make sure that that's not what's happening with that. A lot of distribution companies just come out of nowhere. So No Else is asking. He's having. He says he wants to put beats out. He's trying to narrow down the business model, distributor, and so many other things. So listen, the one thing that I would say is this: you name a project, man. You know what I'm saying, to put out an instrumental album. I believe that is Splice legit? Absolutely, Splice is legit. what I would suggest, no L's, is that you basically you determine what you're gonna name your project, and once you name your project, you put out an EP or you put out maybe 10 songs. You know what I mean, or 10 tracks, and you just pick a distributor, right? Of course, there's the usual suspects in terms of DistroKid, TuneCore, United Masters. Out of the three, I probably lean toward United Masters. And then once you do that, you put that out, and then of course you start to you have to make content around your instrumentals. So that content can be anything as long as it goes with the beat. So that can be visualizers, that can be B-roll, it could be it could be you in the studio, it can be whatever you want to do. But you do have to have some sort of content that's going to help to just kind of promote the music. And then you go from there, let put it out into the stratosphere, and then let's see what the response is. You know what I mean? A lot of it is just you putting stuff out, and then you trying to you have to get into a normal daily cadence of putting out a lot of content. There were some days where after we doing the lives, there are some days we're doing anywhere between 5 to 10 pieces of daily content. Do I recall the Roland MV 8000? Yes, I do recall that. I do have I had my younger cousin used to have that as well. Yeah, don't let it haunt you. Don't even overthink it, my brother. Like, I think what happens is that we're worried about the critique, and listen, the critique is necessary for growth, and I think that's the primary reason why we're doing what we're doing. Is the critique is necessary for growth. Um, if someone was to ask me, would I ever think that I would be on live doing streaming, me streaming, talking to people live? Negative, because for people who know me, I'm just not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Now, granted, if I need to put on, if there's an event or something like that and I need to put on, yeah, I can put on. It's not a problem. But this is not something that people would say was normal for me that I would like. So you got to get out of your comfort zone. And I think that's what this community is all about. It's about building this community of producers, entrepreneurs, artists, getting out our comfort zone, asking questions, and really trying to get to the finish line in the fastest time possible. So how did you react when you received your first major check? So I had an older cousin. Um, he used to own this building out in Brooklyn. Um, that's where when we first started our production company, we had put all our business stuff through that address and stuff. And I was running around, and I was running around trying to buy equipment, trying to do this and trying to find people. And after when we got our first check, and I think the first check was maybe like $5,000 or something like that. Yeah, like give or take. I remember being told, "Hey, you're a professional now. You got paid, right? You got paid. You know what I'm saying? You finally got paid, so now you're a professional." So we were ecstatic, man. And then but it didn't really hit me. I think when it really started to hit me is when I started to travel with like Raekwon and these guys, because he was recording the second album all over the country. We came from New York. He had recorded it, parts of it in Atlanta, and then the other parts of it in Hollywood Hills. And then once I got to the West Coast, and kind of, they put us up in these, these apartments, and then they had a Wu mansion up there and all that type of stuff. Then you start to kind of see like where this music thing could really take you and how it could really change your life. And for everybody, you're one record away, man. You're one record away. If you think about it, it's one record to change your life. One piece of content to change it all. Yeah, just one piece of content can change it all, man. You can put something out today and wake up tomorrow and it's all over the place. I said, once you get to, so Anthony's asking, once you get a certain amount of money in the music industry, what do you recommend doing? If I had to do it all over again, and this is my older self talking to my younger self. The music industry is highs and lows. And I think that's any business. If you're an entrepreneur, you would understand you have highs, you have lows. If you can get a business model where everything is kind of consistent, then you're doing really well. But you have to think of it like this. You have to, if you hit in the music business, right, and you have to realize that you hit a lick, right? You really did hit a lick. You need to take that money, and this is not financial advice. It's not financial advice, but you need to take that money and you need to buy hard assets. That would be my advice to my younger self. If I would have bought more hard assets would be like real estate. So I would have bought more hard assets. I would have gone out. I would have, purchased my houses sooner. You know what I mean? Maybe would have went to do multifamily stuff. Like it just wasn't on my radar. It wasn't on my radar. Yep. Think about it, right, Anthony? Think about it like this. I came out to Atlanta in 1999. Like January, 1999. Not knowing that 10 years later I would actually be moving to Atlanta. So by 2008, I had moved to Atlanta. So imagine if I was aware and would have just bought stuff, even if I didn't live in it, if I would have just bought something and just rented it out, because look where we are now. The time is going to pass. That's what people don't really realize, is that the time is going to pass one way or another. So the question is, what are you going to do at that time? Listen, Calvin, the reason that we had moved to Atlanta was because at the time, New York music had dried up. So we had to make a decision in order to continue with our brand. So I made the decision to move. I made the decision. Me and Mike were coming out here and we were meeting with a bunch of artists. Artists were giving us meetings. We were meeting like Young LA, because he was signed to Grand Hustle at the time. We had met up with a lot of like Gorilla Zoe and these guys when they were on Block Entertainment, and that's when we first seen Walker and these guys. Like, you know what I mean? So we had to take big risks because we had to really rebrand. Because if you look at our old music is under Infinite Architects, right? So our old music, our Big Pun, our old Nas, a lot of our old music is under the Infinite Architects. And then when we went to Atlanta, we changed it to Arkatech Beatz. So we literally it's kind of starting over, because as we came to Atlanta guys didn't give a shit about nothing going from New York. They was like, this is Atlanta, bro. We don't care about no Nas. We don't care about no Wu-Tang. It's Outkast. It was like, they didn't care about that shit at all. So we had to get active. We had to learn the sound. Like, we had to really get in, you know what I mean? And we had to start making our way and try to give our brand of trap music. And, once we connected with Alley Boy and the Duct Tape guys, rest in peace, Trouble. that's history. You know, that's how we met. That's how we met Walker. That's how we got with Killer Mike. You know, Freddie Gibbs. So you know, that's how it worked out. Yeah. But I would recommend that. I would recommend real estate. That's a hard asset. And then I would probably look at taking a portion and putting it into the S&P 500 or buying an ETF. Some ETFs. That's not financial advice. And let those just rock and ride. Stock market. This beat smooth. Chaos, what up? All the books are available at arkatechbeatz.com, and not only do I put the books there, I also put the things that I have as recommended reading. So we have our books, and then I have the other books that I'm reading, which would be, or that I've already read rather. And some of them are music related books, some of them are personal development books, some of them are business books. You could break the loop down a bunch of different ways. But it just depends, man. Like what I try to tell folks that's been in the live, and what I've been noticing, as we've been like working with different artists, like less is more. A lot of times folks are looking to make things do different stuff. You know what I mean? And there's another part to this sample. It goes to 8 bars. And this beat was called Pillow Talk, and then we had 2 other beats. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Then we had another beat in here called The Champion. Someone was asking me if I've ever purchased any Behringer gear. Yes, I have some Behringer speakers here, some Behringer monitors, but I don't use them. Any thoughts on why the game or the genre West Coast melodic hasn't taken off? I'm not sure, man. There's a lot of things there's a lot of reasons why music don't take off, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's very hard to pinpoint that. Shout out to all the new followers. Shout out to all the likes. Shout out to everybody that sent me roses, diamonds, gifts, whatever that stuff is. Shout out to everybody that's been buying the books. Calvin, use what works, man. If it works, keep using it, man. Yeah, if it works, keep using it. You know. I am gonna put a list on our website too, in terms of like an equipment list, and it's gonna be this really limited. It's not. I think less is more. Um, because I really don't want people to really spend too much time trying to learn equipment versus making music. So I like to put things into basics so that you can kind of get to what you got to get to. Does anybody have any other questions before I jump up out of here? Friday night, might have to see what's going on online because the Knicks about to win. Jason, I appreciate you. So No L's is asking me, says with the emergence of Kendrick Lamar's sound, do you think this is enough momentum to shift away from Atlanta? Um, you want my honest opinion? This is a chat. Can I be honest? When it comes to that, do I think that Kendrick Lamar's sound is good? Kendrick Lamar's sound is an anomaly. No other artist can do what Kendrick Lamar's doing and have any success. It's very regional. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that it's. I don't. You have to realize that you have to look at what happened in the last year, and then once you kind of put it together, you kind of have an idea what that situation is. Yeah, it's a regional sound, man. Like like people have to realize. Look, if you take that sound, if you take that sound and you give it to any other artist, if you take that sound and you give it to any other artist, is it as successful? You know what I'm saying? If and you have to think about it in that terms. If I take if I take if I take Luther and I give it to anybody else, does it do the numbers that it's doing? Or if I take Nokia and I give it to anybody else, does it do the numbers that it's doing? That's how you know things are regional. That's how you know things are sometimes inorganic. You know. But for me personally, the GNX album for me, I don't really like think that it was his best work. I think his better work is his other projects out of all of his out of everything that he works on. You know what I'm saying? I think the GNX album was just it is what it is, but I don't think that it's his best work. I think that he's capable of doing way, way, way better work. That's just my opinion. Like I want good music, man. I want music that's gonna really stand the test of time. You know what I mean? And that's the issue. When you look back at a lot of the songs over the last 10 years, it's like yo, a lot of these songs can't stand the test of time. Peace, Noel. Who do I think got the switch right now? Oh, Drake got the switch, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Drake never really, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't going nowhere, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like this, man. It's like it's like the industry was asleep, and the industry did not develop the next set of talent. Yeah, they didn't develop the next set of talent, man. Noel, he said, "Congrats on day 30." Right? It doesn't feel like it was 30 days. It doesn't feel like went 30 days streaming. I'm like, yeah, I did 30 days stream. I did 30 days worth of streams. I didn't feel like it, but I didn't realize that I would even enjoy it. To be honest, like I didn't realize that. So this is a part of me now that I've discovered that I didn't think that I would have enjoyed. And again, it's about coming out of your comfort zone. It's really about coming out of the comfort zone. I never would have thought that I would have even, I would have never have considered this, to make music live because, excuse me, nobody likes the public scrutiny. Um, I like the Griselda stuff. You know what I mean? I like it, but the issue with it is that it has a ceiling. You know what I mean? So it can't take over. Because of the type of music that it is. You know what I'm saying? So right now we're messed up, man, because the person that was helping to get a lot of people the traction, the industry turned their back on. So now, the industry crowned the other guy the king, but the other guy's stimulus package isn't as strong as the other guy's stimulus package. So his features can't help new artists. And now that's why you feel that stagnation right now. It's all stagnated because it's like nobody has the ability to really co-sign an artist and let that work and let it take off. And that's necessary in this business. This business needs validation, co-signs, you know. And if you don't get that, it makes it so much harder to do that. You know what I mean? So, or you're gonna need a whole bunch of money, and that's hard too. Yeah, but I like Benny. I like Spesh. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to BSF Tone. Um, y'all gotta look out for him. I can't wait for Max B to come home. Maybe that'll shake things up a little bit. You know, you see Jim Jones doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? But you know, who else? I think the Lock's working on something right now. You know, It's really the usual suspects. And then you see Nas and Master P putting out a bunch of stuff. Slick Rick, De La Soul, what else? Big L Project. So, so now that's all the legacy artists coming back again. But where's the new guys? You know what I'm saying? Where's the new guys? Where's J. Cole? Like, you know what I mean? Like he's so necessary he's necessary to the culture. Like, where is he? Shout out to Nas Hit Boy, man. All right, then you got Kanye making these songs that are kind of anthem, it's kind of big, but got the wrong titles and content kind of trippy. The Hit Boy Big Hit sound, Cali sound. I don't really have any large opinions on it. I do think what they did as father and son, though, I think that was dope. You know what I mean? Just you know, him coming home and then him working with his son. But you know, people have to remember, like, when you're coming out of being incarcerated for so long, and you start getting you get that amount of attention that quick, it can kind of create a situation where you find yourself back inside. Jedi says he missed the old Kanye. I miss the old Kanye too, man. In my experience, I find that songs with pre-written verses outperform songs that are written based off the feelings of the beat. Um, no, I think that the best music is always kind of written to the music. When you try to take raps that you already have and try to play some to different music, it works, but it works, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? So in my experience, I always see that it's better for you to get the music and make your mind work and your spirit work for what the music is versus trying to, write to something and then trying to apply it to something else. Yeah, with the hip, somebody's asking about the Hit Boy and Big Hit. Um, yeah, it's good. It's anytime we create a regional sound, it's gonna have a little bit of a ceiling. But look, remember what I said before too. What a lot of people are looking to do is people are looking to basically a shout out to Lil Russell and them, right? And Russ, right? Because look, what a lot of people are doing is this. They're not worried about superstardom, right? Because you only have a few artists that'll have superstar status. What you do have is you have guys who have very pinpointed, or what we would call niche audiences, and in my opinion, that's the way for you to really have true longevity. Is once you've developed your peak um, or your primary niche audience, and you serve that audience, then you're able to make a living off your art. And that's what these guys are looking to do, is make a living off their art. In some cases you can make a fortune, and you just need to just go out here and do what you do. Yeah, with BSF, they're like, these are New York guys, right? But remember, they're upstate New York, so it's a little bit different than what it would be in the five boroughs. But to me, it all sounds the same. You know, it's influenced by the same thing, so it feels the same, it sounds the same, it has the same feel and cadence to me. And even with those guys are very good at mastering their niche audience. You know what I'm saying? And they serve their audience. If they got their tours going, they sell their merch, they sell their products, and that's all you can ask for as an artist. Yeah, that's all you want. All you want to do is you want to be able to find your audience and be able to serve your audience, man. That's the main thing you want to do. Da Vinci, what you mean when he said I trip on what I'm saying as is being dismissive? And look, it's like this, man. It's like everything goes in cycles. And right now, listen, the system needed to reset. Like it needed to. It needed to reset. It needed to reset to where we can get back to lyrics, get back to quality music again. Like a lot of mid-level music was getting away with murder. Like a lot of songs, a lot of artists that were just putting out mid-level music, they're getting away with murder. And then there's still a few artists that are doing big streaming numbers, and I don't even know what it is. Yeah, Kanye on something different right now, but Kanye is trying to wake the masses up. Kanye is trying to show people, and I don't even know if I should say this on stream, but Kanye is trying to show you who the true oppressors are. That's what he's trying to show everybody. He's trying to show you he's trying to expose who the masters of the universe are. That's what he's trying to expose. He's trying to show you the double standards. He's trying to show you the hypocrisy. He's trying to show you, you know, who really controls and runs everything. But but remember what they've done. They successfully branded him as somebody who's not well. You know, and that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? Once they're able to successfully create a narrative as to who you are, good luck shaking that. You know, like even if Diddy beats out all the stuff, he's gonna be branded as a deviant. So mission accomplished. He'll never be able to get any more brand deals, anything like that again. You know, so they've what these folks want to do is they want to bankrupt him through legal fees. So between legal fees and settlements, they want to bankrupt him with that. And then they want to do, then you have to fight off the wrongful death suits, the harassment suits. Like he'll be sued until he'll basically be sued into oblivion of litigation. So if he happens to beat this, then he needs to get out of the country. Any other music business related questions, man? I'm answering them tonight. I got about 5 more minutes. goal here, man, again, man, is again, man, we trying to definitely make sure that people are learning this thing, man. And I don't want people to be afraid, man. I want people to really just try to get out of their comfort zone, man. Create that music, put the stuff out there, you know. Stop waiting. You know what I'm saying? Stop waiting, start to create. You know, shout out to my man, Sean Anthony Baker. That's what he says. Don't wait, create, man. Go out here, create your stuff. Again, man, you're one piece of content from changing your life. One piece of content. So I want to encourage people to do that. I want to encourage people to just, you know, blow the dust off that MPC, blow the dust off. You know, I'm going to start doing a few more other platforms. I'm going to do a little bit of FL or do a little bit of Serato. I don't proclaim to be an expert in FL, but I definitely can make make a few joints in there. You know, so it's not you know, extremely difficult for people to know. If you got 500 beats, man, you got to put them out, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, you got to put them out, man. Like, think about it like this, right? I got this special soda right here. Well, it's not really soda, it's sparkling water, right? But this is called Arkatech Beatz sparkling water. And this is a special blend of sparkling water with healing coconut water with a little bit of fizzle of pineapple or whatever it might be in there. And this could be the best drink ever that I've made in my house, right? But if I don't get this out, right? If I don't get this on the shelves, then how do I get a chance of, you know, people knowing how good it is? So you got to put yourself on the shelf, man. You got to put yourself out here and get it in. So how do you separate yourself from so many artists, producers out there? There's only one you. You know what I mean? There's only one you. And I think that's the thing, is that's the whole point of going online. And that's the whole point of making content, is that people will like you for whatever reason that they like you. They might like the way that you talk. They might like the way that your beats hit. They might like the way that you create your content. They might like the way that you, you know, put your color schemes together. Like, the internet is different, man. People like what they like. You know what I'm saying? Now, does that mean that everybody's going to like, you know, does it mean that we're going to get 1 million followers, 2 million followers? I don't know, you know. But you might get your solid 1,000. You know what I mean? That's willing to buy everything that you make. So what platform? Yeah, you definitely need your own platform, but you know, you can use like SoundCloud or BandLab or Bandcamp. You know what I mean? You definitely want to be able to just put your music out. You know what I'm saying? So you can do it one of two ways. You can kind of put out some albums through regular DSPs, or you can put out the stuff through like Bandcamp and stuff, and do that for digital download. Richard Harmon is asking, he's assuming that the old way of getting points is no longer part of the game. No, points are still part of the game. You just have to ask for more because of the way streaming is. Because streaming is so fractional, you have to ask for more points. All right. So typically from the old school way, you know, you would get 3% of the, you know, of the retail or the net, or the not the retail, but the wholesale value of a CD or tape. And then, of course, that would go into a record pool, and then you would divide that pool by how many songs are on the album, right? Now, you know, it's because everything is kind of streaming and single base, you would ask for more. So now you would ask for anywhere between 20 25% on that. because remember, it's now 0.003 if you're talking about a Spotify stream. 0.0003, something like that. Yeah, Jedi, we here, man. But to separate yourself from other folks, man, you gotta just put your stuff out there, man. I can't stress it enough, like, to really put your things out there. And, you'll develop what we call a cadence, as you start to do more. If you guys don't follow, like, a guy like Alex Hermosi, he talks about, like, repetition and says how people don't do nearly as much as they think they need to do in order to be successful. So you gotta get on here, man, and you gotta get out, and you gotta put this music out, and you gotta be relentless about it. Shameless promotion. L Cool J, man, listen, you have to pay attention to everything, and if you ever look at your analytics in your TikTok analytics or your YouTube analytics, if you have a YouTube channel and you look at your analytics, everything is based off of watch time, and what you start to realize is that people's attention spans aren't long at all. So can you imagine me trying to make a beat that has a 45-second intro before the beat drops? It just doesn't work. Not anymore, at least. It's the microwave society right now, man. Everything has to go, like, fast. But I'm about to jump off, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Might be slightly later because I gotta take the kids to the movies. So make sure y'all holler at me. If y'all need anything, you know what I mean? Peace, y'all.